Hello, hello, hello. It's time for another game of chess. 10 minutes plus 5 seconds interval. So every time either myself or my opponent makes a move, get an extra 5 seconds added to the clock, which I find is very, very helpful. Right, I'm playing Pampastic. Cool name, I have to say. Let's start with pawn to queen 4, aka d4, and see what Pampastic has to do or has to say in response to that. And they've gone knight to blah de blah. Right, okay. Ooh. Let's go in the middle. Hunky dory. Let's bring out my knight. Maybe I would have brought out my pawn, actually. Maybe I should have gone c4. I don't know. High C. Take that with that. Ba-dum bum bum, ba-dum bum, ba-dum bum. Right. Let's try and budge that pesky bishop, just pinning my knight against my king, and he has disappeared. Let's drive him back a bit more. Now, 2 pieces there, fine. Well, let's play him at his own game, eh? Let's pin his knight against his queen. See what he has to say about that. Now I'm threatening e5, which might win that knight on f6, but maybe he will go g5 to block. There you are, he has done. So I'm just going to move my bishop back, like so. I'm thinking of advancing my a pawn, maybe pushing his bishop back. Maybe I can get my knight to b5. I don't know. Have to think about that. I have to have a wee bit of a think-keep. Well, let's do it. Let's jolly well do it. Okay, he's moved his pawn forward there in order to have an escape square for his bishop. Can't unfortunately move that forward now, but maybe what I could do is I could move my I'm going to move my d pawn forward, but it does open that long diagonal, doesn't it, for his bishop. So what about, I don't know, I'm just going crazy now. Okay. Trying to keep an eye on all of these. Kind of a complicated situation. What to do? What to do? So much going on. See, my pawn on b4 is unprotected, which makes me feel a little unhappy. So maybe that's the best thing to do, is just to protect that. I'm obviously not castling that side anyway. Okay. No pieces have been taken yet, have they? Um, no. Well, why don't we move my bishop here? And maybe I can set up that pin again on that knight. That'd be a good idea? The knight on f6. Pin it against his queen, maybe? I mean, it's an idea. I have no idea what else to do here. I can't imagine he's going to castle kingside, but his queenside is all a bit befuddled as well, isn't it? Well, they're having a good think about it, just like I was having a good think about it. So my white bishop is... Right, so he's moved his bishop. I can think that's for no reason really other than the possibility of castling. Perhaps. Let's move my bishop here. It's quite a nice place for my bishop because it's protected by that pawn. They're quite solid. They're sort of locked in together. Although what my eventual plan is going to be... so they've moved their pawn there. That stops me advancing mine, of course. It does prevent him from having a square for his knight on e5, his other knight. Although there are other places he could put that knight. If I were to advance to d5, he could move his knight to d4. He can also obviously move it back to e7. Although that wouldn't be a very good idea at the moment. So the only good-ish place he could move that knight would be to d4 if I move to d5. And what happens then? Okay, I think I'd... Well, of course, he's now got 3 pieces attacking my pawn on d4, and I don't have enough pieces to take him back. Oh, I could move my knight to d5. Couldn't I? Well, that feels good. Knight to d5. Putting more pressure on his knight. That feels good. I think. La 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 la. Yeah, I'm quite happy with that move. I think that works. Because he can't move his knight because he loses his queen, and he can't protect that knight with any other piece. He can't protect it with his rook on h6 because I just win the rook then. So I reckon that's good. I reckon that's quite nice. What's more, if I take that knight with my bishop and his queen takes me back, I can then go knight takes c7 check. Do you see that? Oh, right, so what's he done? He's taken that there. He's moved that there. Well, it's not entirely surprising. So I think this works quite well for me. I take this, which is forking his queen and rook. If he takes me with his queen, no, he doesn't. So he saw that. But I do win the rook. Well, this is jolly good. This is jolly good. Is there anything nasty he has here? Don't think so at the moment. Don't think so. So material-wise, I'm quite a lot ahead now. And when you're ahead with material, it's a good idea to start swapping pieces if you can, because then your advantage comparatively increases. I'd be tempted to knock out that pawn on h5, maybe by checking him with my knight. Okay, so he wants my knight to move, which I think I'm all right with. If I check him with my knight, I can take that pawn on h5 and potentially cause him more pain. Let's do it. Do I take the bishop or do I take the pawn? I think I'd take the pawn at this stage, because I think that... Oh, he can take my... Oh, rats, he can take my bishop in the corner. I didn't really think that through, did I? Okay, never mind. He's obviously also attacking my knight now on h5, so let's put that somewhere safer. Oh, no, don't move your knight back, Grey. Move your other knight out to protect it, I think. Is that wise? Is that wise, sir? Is that wise? I think it is, because then at least I get my bishop. I'm going to try it. Okay. I'm going to try it. I'm a bit worried that my knight on h5, I don't really have anywhere else to put it. But let's see. Still ahead. 5 points ahead. I shouldn't have... Maybe I could have looked after my bishop a bit better on h8. I just totally failed to see that. Possible squares I'm looking at are d6. So he has a pawn on d6. If I was to have another piece attacking d6, or such as a knight, for instance, my queen could maybe take d6 with check. So if I was able to push off his knight on d4, then my knight on g3 could go to f5, attacking that. Oh, but he can take me with his bishop, which he's just moved. Now. He is attacking or planning to attack my knight. So, let's first of all get him to move that knight, I think. Which at least frees up the f5 square for a possible check, followed by the queen coming down. I mean, my king is, it's not really totally safe, is it? But feels a bit safer than his, maybe. All right, okay. Oh, look, he's still protecting that pawn. That's good. He's protecting d6 with that knight there. But I could take him with my bishop. Let's do that. So eliminated his square protecting that. Now I'm going to check him so. And I'm going to follow that up with queen takes d6, which is probably going to be a check as well by the looks of things, which is good, which means I might be able to rescue my knight on h5. And who knows, actually, who knows what might be coming up here. Here comes the queen. He's moved that there. All right, I don't have any other safe checks. The check on f6 doesn't work. I could, well, this adds the pressure, doesn't it? I could add my, well, I could either move my knight there. Well, let's move my knight there. Yeah. I was thinking rook on d1, but I think knight here may be even better because it makes it harder for him to protect that d7 square. Can he even do it? I don't think he can. Is this checkmate? I think maybe this is checkmate. I'm not sure he has any... I mean, he can take the knight with his queen, but that's obviously not going to win him the game. It just prevents the checkmate. Oh, he's done it. This shouldn't be too tricky for me now. What I need to do is I need to go and get another piece involved in this, I think. Or is there a quicker way? My temptation is just to roll up this pawn. Roll it down to the end of the board. If he moves king c7, I just take the pawn on e5 with check. He will have to move back again. Here we go. So I take this with check. He can't move that king any further forward. It has to go back. I can move this now. There's nothing quite here, is there? So let's just move the pawn forward. Okay, he's given himself an escape square there. But I can actually do this. That's taken away the b7 escape square. Okay, queen up there, fair enough. Let us do. Ba-do-ba-do-boo-boo. Oh, that's quite a clever little thought, wasn't it? Well, look, I'm not worried if we swap off pieces at this stage. That doesn't bother me. Okay. Okay. He's taken my pawn, but big deal. He's not going to be able to stop me getting another queen. Here we are. It's going to be my rook on a1, I think, which wins the game. Here we go. There we go. Well, thank you, Pampastic. Interesting game. Yeah, I don't know. I got myself into a bit of a... It was a bit confusing at the start there earlier, wasn't it? So it felt like the thing which made the difference. Where was it? Let's just have a wee look here. Felt like this here. And actually, this move here was perhaps the mistake because letting my knight come to d5. Let's see that again. It's quite important, I think, for him to protect d5. Letting my knight come to d5 was the thing which I think ultimately let the game slide away. But yeah, good game.